Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you may shake the way you've seen your entire life. Everything around you, your circumstances, your relationships, your peace, your struggles, your victories, all of it is the direct reflection of your thoughts, your faith, and your words. You are living inside a world that your own mind built. It's not random, it's not luck, it's not coincidence. It's the invisible architecture of what you have believed, repeated, and declared over time. And that's the part most people never want to accept, that their reality isn't something that just happens. It's something they've been creating all along. You see, most people pray for change, but their words cancel out their prayers. They ask for blessings but speak curses. They hope for success but dwell on failure. They say they believe in miracles, yet their thoughts are filled with doubt, fear, and limitation. You can't expect heaven to move when your own words build walls around your future. Your life obeys the pattern of your internal dialogue. Whatever dominates your mind will eventually dominate your world. That's not a suggestion, that's a spiritual law. Think about it. You talk about what you believe, you attract what you expect, and you live what you speak. If your language is full of fear, you'll live in fear. If your conversations are full of defeat, you'll experience defeat. And if you keep repeating the story of your limitations, you'll keep finding proof of why you're stuck. Your life bends toward the direction of your most persistent thoughts. The world outside of you is a mirror of what's going on inside of you. The truth is simple but brutal. You cannot live a victorious life with a defeated mind. Every day you are broadcasting signals through your thoughts and words. You might not see it, but heaven does. The spiritual world responds to faith and agreement. When your mind is full of gratitude, faith, and truth, it sends a frequency that aligns with divine power. But when your mind is filled with fear, self-pity, and doubt, that same energy attracts confusion, chaos, and limitation. The realm of the unseen doesn't respond to feelings. It responds to faith. And faith is born from thought, reinforced by words, and confirmed by consistency. This is why transformation never begins with action. It begins with awareness. You cannot change what you refuse to confront. And most people never confront the chaos in their minds. They blame their circumstances, their past, their upbringing, their luck, but they never look at the pattern of their own thoughts. They never question what they've been saying about themselves day after day. They've repeated lies about their worth for so long that those lies now sound like truth. But the moment you begin to renew your mind, the moment you choose to think differently, the moment you refuse to let fear dictate your language, your reality begins to shift. It's not magic, it's alignment. When your thoughts, your faith, and your words come into agreement, power is released. That's when heaven and earth begin to align. That's when impossible situations begin to bend toward you. But that alignment can't happen while your mouth is contradicting your faith, or while your mind is feeding on fear. You can't speak like a victim and expect to live like a victor. You can't keep rehearsing pain and expect peace to grow. What you focus on expands. What you speak gains strength. What you believe takes shape. The truth is, many people are unconsciously creating the very storms they pray for rescue from. They keep declaring what they don't want instead of what they do want. They keep magnifying problems instead of magnifying the promise. And then they wonder why nothing changes. You can't plant weeds and expect flowers to grow. Your thoughts are seeds, your words are water, your faith is sunlight. Whatever you feed will live, and whatever you starve will die. So if you want a different life, stop speaking the language of the old one. You were never meant to live small. You were never created to exist in constant worry and fear. The power that shaped the universe lives within you. The words that come out of your mouth carry divine weight. They can open doors or shut them. They can heal or destroy. They can build faith or feed doubt. Every sentence you speak is either blessing your future or cursing it. Every thought you entertain is either building a bridge toward your destiny or a wall around your potential. So ask yourself, what are you creating? Because whether you realize it or not, you are always creating something. This is the invisible blueprint of your life. The mind is the architect, faith is the foundation, and words are the tools. If you want to see change on the outside, it must first happen on the inside. You can't build a mansion of peace with the materials of fear. You can't expect abundance when your thoughts are rooted in lack. You can't speak defeat and walk into victory. It doesn't work that way. Life will always echo back to you what you believe, what you expect, and what you declare. So maybe it's time to stop asking for a new life and start building one. Start mastering your inner world. Start paying attention to what you allow your mind to dwell on. Start taking responsibility for the power of your words, because every day you are either reinforcing heaven's plan for your life or strengthening the chains of your own limitation. You decide. The pen is in your hand, and the words you write with your thoughts in faith will become the story you live. Your thoughts are not background noise. They are commands, blueprints, invisible architects shaping every corner of your existence. Each thought you entertain sends a signal into the unseen world, summoning outcomes that match its vibration. You may not realize it, but you are constantly creating. Every belief, every assumption, every mental picture becomes a silent decree over your life. This is why some people stay stuck even when they pray, even when they hope, even when they try, because their thoughts are working against their own prayers. They're asking for light while meditating on darkness. They're praying for peace while feeding on anxiety. You can't plant weeds and expect roses to grow. You can't build a foundation of fear and expect faith to stand tall on it. Your mind is a construction site, and your thoughts are the workers. Some are building strength, others are tearing it down. Every time you say, "I can't," a wall goes up. Every time you say, "This is too hard," the ceiling lowers. Every time you think, "I'm not enough," you shrink the space of what's possible for you. You are living inside the structure your own thoughts have built, brick by brick, word by word, belief by belief. And here's the harsh truth: most people spend their entire lives reinforcing their prisons instead of building their palaces. They rehearse fear, they replay failure, they relive pain, and call it reality. But it's not reality, it's construction. You are the builder. The thoughts you entertain the most become the habits of your mind, and your habits of mind become the reality you live in. If you want to see what you've been thinking, look at your life. It's right there. Every repeated worry, every limiting belief, every hidden doubt has already manifested itself in your emotions, your health, your relationships, your results. What you think about, you bring about. It's not mystical, it's spiritual law. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. You can't escape it. You can't cheat it. You can only align with it or resist it. When you dwell on negative thoughts, you are giving energy to the very things you say you want to avoid. Fear grows by attention. Doubt strengthens through repetition. Every time you allow toxic thoughts to dominate your mind, you're watering seeds of destruction. And those seeds don't disappear. They grow. Slowly, silently, they grow roots in your subconscious. Then one day, you wake up wondering why you're surrounded by chaos, not realizing it started as a single thought you refused to uproot. But here's the hope. You can change your mind. You can rewire the way you think. You can plant new seeds, build new patterns, and design a new inner landscape. The power to do that is already within you. You are not a prisoner of your past thoughts unless you choose to be. You can tear down every mental stronghold, every negative belief, every toxic pattern, and rebuild something powerful. Because your mind is not fixed, it's fertile. It will grow whatever you plant. So ask yourself, what are you planting every day? When you wake up, do you fill your mind with gratitude or complaint? Do you meditate on possibility or limitation? Because what you think about most will expand. If you constantly think about failure, you'll see failure everywhere. If you constantly think about blessings, blessings will begin to appear. Your thoughts train your perception. They decide what you notice, what you attract, and what you create. Don't underestimate this. The thoughts you allow to sit in your mind are not harmless. They shape your emotions, influence your decisions, and set the tone for your entire life. Think small, and your actions will shrink to match. Think weak, and your strength will fade. Think powerless, and you'll live like a victim. But think victory, think purpose, think growth, and suddenly the same situations that once broke you will begin to serve you. The same challenges that once defeated you will now build you. That's how powerful your thoughts are. You are never meant to be at the mercy of your mind. You are given authority over it. You can command your thoughts the same way you command your words. You can choose what stays and what goes. You can reject every thought that breeds fear, doubt, and self-sabotage, and replace it with one that breathes faith, strength, and peace. The mind becomes what you feed it. If you feed it truth, it will produce confidence. If you feed it lies, it will produce fear. Every transformation begins with thought. Every miracle begins with mindset. Every victory begins in the invisible space between your ears. So stop waiting for change to happen to you. Change begins when you decide to think differently. Choose thoughts that align with faith, not fear. Choose thoughts that lift, not limit. Choose thoughts that agree with purpose, not defeat. Because when you change your thoughts, you change your world. And that's not philosophy. That's power. That faith is not a mood. It's not a feeling you wait to feel when life looks good or when everything makes sense. Faith is a choice. A raw, deliberate decision to believe what God has said, even when every visible thing screams the opposite. You either live by faith or you live by fear. There is no middle ground. Faith is the language of creation. Fear is a language of destruction. One builds, the other breaks. One calls things into existence, the other shuts them down before they're born. You can't serve both. You must decide which one will rule your life. Faith doesn't ask for proof, it creates it. It doesn't wait for signs. It becomes the sign. It doesn't say, I'll believe it when I see it. It says, I'll see it because I believe it. That's the difference between people who keep moving forward and those who stay trapped. Most people have faith in the wrong direction. They have faith that things will go wrong. They believe in lack more than abundance. They believe in struggle more than breakthrough. They trust fear more than they trust God. You don't get what you want. You get what you truly believe. Faith is a law, not an emotion. It operates whether you understand it or not. Just like gravity doesn't turn off because you don't feel like believing in it, faith doesn't stop working because you're tired or unsure. The moment you speak and believe something deep enough, you release energy into motion. Heaven moves on faith. The unseen world responds to conviction. When you choose to believe in the promise before the evidence, that's when spiritual alignment begins. That's when unseen things start taking form. That's when doors open that logic can't explain. But here's the truth most people ignore. Doubt kills faster than failure. Doubt is poison to faith. It suffocates miracles before they can breathe. You can't declare victory with your mouth and carry defeat in your heart. You can't say I believe while secretly expecting nothing. That doesn't coexist with doubt. It conquers it. Every time you let doubt sit in your mind, it grows roots, it spreads, and it begins to choke your vision. That's why some people pray endlessly, but see no movement. Their lips say one thing, but their spirit says another. You have to train your faith like a muscle. You have to feed it with truth, not fear. You have to speak life even when you feel empty. Faith doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's a quiet refusal to bow to fear. Sometimes it's the whisper that says, I don't see it yet, but I know it's already done. That's the kind of faith that moves the heavens. That's the kind of faith that turns impossibility into testimony. But here's the challenge. Faith will always demand that you walk blind before you walk bold. It will always test your willingness to trust the invisible. You will never build faith in comfort. Faith grows when sight fails. It matures when logic collapses. It strengthens when everything around you says, give up. That's where you discover whether you believe in what you see or in what's eternal. Don't misunderstand this. Faith is not pretending. It's not wishful thinking. It's not closing your eyes and ignoring reality. It's aligning your heart with a greater reality, the one that exists before the evidence. When you have faith, you stop negotiating with fear. You stop begging for signs. You stop letting circumstances dictate your mood. Because faith isn't about control, it's about surrender. It's the choice to trust what you cannot yet see, knowing that the unseen is more real than the visible. Faith creates a shift in the atmosphere. When you believe, you release authority. You become a participant in creation. What you believe about your future pulls you toward it. What you believe about your worth shapes how you live. What you believe about your potential determines how far you go. Every act of faith builds momentum in the unseen world. Every declaration of faith sends ripples into eternity, and those ripples return as miracles, open doors, and divine connections. If you want to know what kind of faith you have, listen to the words that leave your mouth when pressure comes. Faith doesn't show up when it's easy. It shows up when everything is falling apart. That's when your spirit decides whether it will bow to fear or rise in trust. And when you rise, heaven rises with you. Because real faith doesn't just believe, I know God. It believes, with our God. It stands in agreement with His truth, no matter how loud the lies get. So stop waiting for evidence before you believe. Stop letting fear write the story of your future. The moment you align your thoughts, words, and spirit with faith, the creative power of heaven begins to move. The same power that formed the universe begins to form your breakthrough. You won't see it at first, but you'll feel it. The shift, the peace, the unexplainable confidence that tells you it's already done. That's faith. That's the force that rewrites your life. Your words are not noise. They are power. They are spiritual forces carrying the weight of life and death. Every syllable that leaves your mouth becomes a seed planted into the soil of your future. You are speaking your destiny into existence every single day, whether you realize it or not. The tragedy is that most people are cursing themselves without knowing it. They think they're venting, being real, or just speaking facts. But in reality, they're authoring failure with their own mouths. You don't describe your life with your words. You recreated it. And the more carelessly you speak, the more chaos you create. When you say, I can't, heaven hears limitation. When you say, nothing ever works out for me, the spiritual realm takes that as instruction. When you keep repeating, I'm tired, I'm broke, I'm not enough, you are shaping a world that agrees with your declarations. You're giving your pain power. You're commanding your fears to stay alive. Every complaint strengthens the very thing you want to escape. Every negative word is a seed of failure, and it will always produce a harvest in time. Your life will never rise higher than the words that come out of your mouth. You have to understand, your mouth is not for casual speech, it's a weapon of creation. It was designed to carry authority, to release divine power, to shape atmospheres. Every word carries vibration, frequency, life, and energy. When your words agree with truth, they open doors. When they agree with fear, they shut them. You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot declare sickness and expect healing. You cannot fill your days with complaints and expect peace to dwell in your heart. The power of your tongue determines the direction of your life. This is why some people keep circling the same problems year after year. They keep saying the same things, and life keeps obeying their voice. You've said, I'm stuck so many times that your mind believes it. You've said, I'll never change so often that your spirit has stopped fighting. But words don't just express belief, they shape a belief. When you repeat something long enough, your mind accepts it as truth. That's why it's not enough to stay silent. You have to replace every lie with a louder truth. You must learn to speak like someone who knows who they are. Start declaring what God has already said about you. Say it until it feels real. Say it until your doubts go silent. Say it until your circumstances start to bow to your conviction. Don't wait until you feel strong. Speak strength now. Don't wait until the door opens. Declare it open now. Don't wait until the fear is gone. Command it to leave with your words. You were never meant to be a victim of your environment. You were created to shape it with your voice. Your mouth is a tool of authority, not surrender. When you speak truth, you align with divine power. Your words become light, and darkness can't argue with light. When you speak peace, chaos loses its grip. When you speak life, death has to retreat. Every time you declare faith, something shifts in the unseen realm. You are building your tomorrow today with every sentence you speak. So choose your words with intention. Let them carry vision, conviction, and power. Let them echo heaven's language, not the world's noise. But here's the hard truth. If you keep speaking like a victim, don't expect to live like a victor. If your mouth is full of fear, don't expect faith to rise. If you keep repeating pain, you will keep reliving it. Stop magnifying what's wrong. Stop rehearsing what hurts. Stop giving life to what drains you. The tongue is a fire. It can burn your future or light it, and you hold the match. You have the authority to shift your atmosphere by the words you speak. You can speak blessing into what looks barren. You can speak healing into what feels broken. You can speak victory into what seems impossible, because your words carry creative power. They are not ordinary sounds. They are containers of spirit and energy. Once they're released, they don't disappear. They move, they build, they shape, they return. You are living today in the echoes of what you said yesterday. So speak intentionally, speak boldly, speak as one who knows their words matter. Don't waste your breath on fear, doubt, or defeat. Use your voice to call forth the life you desire. Use it to agree with heaven. Use it to command alignment between your faith and your future. Because every time you open your mouth, you are either releasing miracles or building mountains. If you want a different life, start speaking a different language. Replace I can't with I will. Replace I'm not enough with I am more than enough. Replace it's impossible with it's already done. Speak it until the world around you adjusts. Because your words are not waiting for your feelings, they're waiting for your authority. When your mouth agrees with faith, creation begins to move. Speak light, speak truth, speak life, and watch your world shift in response. Stop acting like life is just happening to you. Stop pretending you have no control, as if you're some powerless spectator watching your own story unfold. You're not a victim of fate. You're a creator with authority. The truth is, you've been given more power than you've ever dared to believe. Your thoughts design the blueprint. Your faith fuels the structure. Your words bring it all into form. That is the divine order of creation. Every part of your being was made to reflect power, not passivity. But you've been conditioned to forget that. You've been trained to survive instead of create. You've been told to hope for the best instead of building it. And that's why so many live small, not because they lack potential, but because they've forgotten who they are. Everything in your life right now is a reflection of what you've accepted, tolerated, and spoken into existence. Your thoughts are architects. Your faith is energy. Your words are commands. Whether you use that power intentionally or recklessly, it's always active. The universe is not silent. It's responding to what you believe about yourself. You are never without influence. You are always manifesting something. The only question is whether you're creating with purpose or by default. When you fill your mind with truth, your faith starts to breathe. When your faith grows strong, your words start to shift the atmosphere. And when all three come into alignment, your thoughts, your faith, your words, nothing can stop the momentum of creation. That's when breakthrough happens. That's when the impossible bends. That's when you step into the flow of divine authority, because you are no longer contradicting your own power. You've come into agreement with the design that was always within you. But when your thoughts are poisoned with fear, your faith becomes weak, and your words lose power. You start reacting instead of creating. You start begging for what you already possess. You start asking for signs instead of commanding results. You hand over your authority to circumstance. You forget that life doesn't just happen, it responds. You forget that every moment is waiting for instruction from your heart and your mouth. And when your instructions are negative, you recreate the very chains you're praying to be freed from. You are not powerless. You are simply misdirected. You keep building what you don't want because you've been thinking, believing, and speaking in alignment with fear. The good news is, you can change direction in an instant. The moment you shift your internal language, everything begins to follow. The moment you stop saying I can't and start declaring I can, heaven takes notice. The moment you stop seeing yourself as trapped and start believing you're chosen, new paths begin to form under your feet. This is not wishful thinking, it's alignment. Creation follows belief. Reality rearranges itself to match conviction. Stop letting old thoughts write new chapters of your life. Stop giving faith to the fears that were never meant to own you. Stop speaking defeat as though it's permanent truth. Every word you say is shaping tomorrow's world. Every belief you hold is either building your destiny or burying it. The power is not somewhere out there, it's in you. It always has been. You've just forgotten how to use it. You don't need to wait for a miracle. You are built with the same creative power that performs miracles. When your thoughts agree with truth, your faith ignites. When your faith is alive, your words carry divine authority. That's when mountains start moving. Not because the mountain changed, but because you did. You rose to your rightful level of power. You stopped thinking like a victim and started speaking like a creator. The world listens when you speak with that kind of conviction. Creation recognizes the sound of authority. But if you continue to live by fear, the same principle still works, just in reverse. Fear creates bondage. Doubt creates stagnation. Complaints create drought. You're still creating, just not what you want. The power doesn't turn off. It's always active. Every fearful thought is a blueprint for failure. Every negative word is a brick in a wall that keeps you from freedom. So stop feeding the darkness and start building the light. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about realizing that you have the right to shape what will be. You are not a bystander in your own story. You are the author. And the ink is faith. The paper is your mind. The pen is your tongue. What you write becomes your world. So start writing on purpose. Start thinking on purpose. Start speaking on purpose. Because the moment you align those three, thought, faith, word, creation obeys you. You are a vessel of divine power. You have the authority to command peace where there is chaos, to speak provision where there is lack, to call purpose out of confusion. This is the identity you are born with. You are not waiting for permission, you've already been given it. Now it's time to act like it. So rise up, think like a creator, believe like a warrior, speak like one who knows heaven backs their words. Because the world around you is only waiting for you to remember who you are, and to speak accordingly. Stop waiting for everything to change before you do. Stop sitting in the same patterns, waiting for a sign, waiting for a breakthrough, waiting for someone to come fix what you are given the power to change yourself. You have everything you need inside you right now, the authority, the wisdom, the voice, the faith. The problem isn't that God is silent. The problem is that you haven't started speaking with the power you were born with. You've been living small, thinking small, praying small. When you are designed to create worlds with your words, it's time to take that truth seriously. Look around your life. Every area that feels broken is waiting for you to speak life into it. Every closed door is waiting for you to declare it open. Every fear is waiting to be silenced by faith. You have been waiting on a miracle while the miracle has been waiting on you. You're not helpless, you're powerful. But power without action is wasted potential. You cannot keep saying I believe and then speak like a doubter. You cannot keep praying for peace and then feed on chaos. You cannot keep asking for change and then keep thinking the same thoughts, speaking the same words, believing the same limitations. You can't walk into a new life carrying the vocabulary of your old one. You were made in the image of a creator. That means your life responds to the sound of your faith. You are the architect of your atmosphere. You are the designer of your destiny. The thoughts you think, the words you speak, the faith you release, they are constantly shaping everything around you. You don't need permission to change your life. You need conviction. You need the courage to use your power. You need to stop asking when and start saying now. Because faith doesn't wait, it acts. And every time you act in faith, you activate heaven's movement in your direction. So today, choose what kind of world you want to live in. Choose what kind of person you want to be. Choose the words that align with victory, not defeat. Choose thoughts that magnify strength, not fear. Choose faith that builds, not faith that breaks. Guard your mind like sacred ground. Let nothing unworthy take root there. Speak only what builds life, not what breeds despair, because your life will always expand or contract to the measure of your faith and the sound of your words. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are not stuck. You have the ability to shift your entire reality by aligning your thoughts with truth, your faith with conviction, and your words with purpose. That's the formula of transformation. That's how you create heaven on earth. When your thoughts agree with divine truth, when your faith refuses to bow to fear, when your words carry the sound of conviction, creation must respond. It cannot ignore authority. So stop doubting your voice. Stop speaking as though you have no say in your future. Start commanding peace into your storm. Start declaring provision over your lack. Start affirming strength where you feel weak. Speak until your atmosphere changes. Speak until your spirit rises. Speak until every part of you believes again. Because every word you release in faith becomes a seed in the soil of your destiny. Keep planting, keep speaking, keep believing. Your life is listening to you. Every moment, every opportunity, every possibility is waiting for instruction. So instruct it. Tell it what to become. Tell it where to move. Tell it to align with the promises that belong to you. You don't need to see the evidence first. You need to declare it first. Speak it before you see it. Believe it before it manifests. Walk like it's already done. That's how faith creates reality. And when doubt whispers, when fear knocks, when the world tells you to be realistic, remember who you are. You are the image of a creator. You carry divine authority in your voice. Your words hold weight in the unseen. Heaven recognizes your sound. So use it. Don't waste another day speaking weakness into your world. Stop talking about what's wrong. Start creating what's right. Because the power that builds worlds is already in your mouth. So speak life, speak faith, speak truth, speak light every day, every moment, every challenge. Let your words create what your heart believes. You have the power to shape your reality. The only question is, will you keep repeating your limitations, or will you rise and speak like one who knows their power? The choice is yours. But remember this, the world you will walk in tomorrow is being formed by the words you speak today. Speak wisely, speak boldly, and speak like you mean it.